It's been 40 years since Laurie Strode survived a vicious attack from crazed killer Michael Myers on Halloween night. Locked up in an institution, Myers manages to escape when his bus transfer goes horribly wrong. Laurie now faces a terrifying showdown when the masked madman returns to Haddonfield, Illinois, but this time, she's ready for him. Welcome to TalksToGeeks.com review of Halloween 2018. Not to be confused with Halloween 1978 or whatever Rob Zombie tried to do. But anyway, let's get into it, you guys. So first I want to just say this right off the bat. This is the best follow-up film of any of the films in the franchise besides Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which a lot of people don't even consider canon because Michael Myers wasn't in it. I will definitely say it, definitely for me, if I'm going to rank them, I'm not going to rank them all right now. I will say it's Halloween 1978, Halloween 2018, and then I will go with Halloween 2. So, as we all know, or some of you guys know, that this is going to be billed as the official direct sequel to the original film. And I kind of see why, because if you guys know a little bit of the backstory, that John Carpenter really didn't want to do a Halloween 2. He wanted Halloween to be an anthology type of series. That's why we got the Season of the Witch. And he basically was drinking 6 packs of beer trying to get this story going, and that's why we had the twist that Laurie is actually Michael Myers' brother. So, but now let's get into it. 40 years later after the attack, Laurie, one thing I'll do is that I'm going to go into my pros and my cons. And one of my biggest pros is Jamie Lee Curtis and the Laurie Strode character. I love what they did with this. This is another great role for Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's a great character study on Laurie Strode. There's some really underlying themes here on commentary when it comes to trauma and how trauma or going through certain traumas will affect people. We get to see how this trauma not only affected Laurie, but Laurie's family as well, from her being a survivor. And I really did like that commentary. It's not beating over your head. It's very subdued, and you can kind of connect that to what's going on in today's world when it comes to the women's movement and everything else. So I felt that was done very, very well. And I really did like her character. She's just beaten down. She's hardened by it, and it really kind of cost her everything by what she went through with Michael Myers. Speaking of Michael Myers, he is the show stealer of this, man. And I'm not just talking about the brutal kills that he does, but this is a very menacing callback 1978 Michael Myers. This is everything that Dr. Loomis has described. This guy is a force of nature. He has no conscience. He has no empathy. All he wants to do is kill, and you see it in the trailer. The second trailer, when Michael is just going from house to house, just roaming the streets of Haddonfield. This was a very chilling Michael Myers. There's people that die in here that I'm just going, dude, for real, like, why? There's no reason, and that's what makes him so scary. There is no reason why. He's just evil, and I'm really happy that they really captured what Michael Myers is, and I felt it was really good done. Other positives is the cinematography here. I swear, I had this theory that John Carpenter directed some of these scenes, because the director, Green, he did a really good job of just really establishing shots that really give you a nice cinematography feel of the 1978 film, and I thought it was done very, very well. And speaking of John Carpenter, the music is great. Yes, there is still, most of it is still soundtracks from the original film, but with a nice update rendition of it. I mean, just the fact that he added strings to certain theme songs, especially when it comes to the chase scenes, it really makes it kind of like this shark hunting for blood in the water. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed the score, and I definitely recommend you guys to pick it up. Now, the kills. Some of the kills are off screen, but the ones that you do see, it's very brutal. I think there was one kill that was you can tell CGI wasn't really practical effect with it, but it didn't take me out of the movie. What did take me out of the movie, which I'm gonna go into the cons, was there is one kill that's just very ruined because of humor. And I don't understand why we are in this age where we have to have humor in every freaking film. Not every film needs a joke. Some films have to be serious. I'm not saying that Halloween shouldn't take itself ultra serious, but what you're kind of setting up when you're going for that theme of trauma and how trauma affects a family and how trauma affects a survivor, there's no real laughing matters here, especially when somebody's dying. I'm not gonna spoil which kill it is. When you see it, you're gonna see it. But there's this moment where this character is literally pleading for their life, and the way another character reacts, you're laughing, or you're just like, oh yeah, yeah, I will act like that too. I mean, that character is kind of like a virtual, like a kind of a signal of how the audience will probably react in a situation like that. If they're scared, like, oh man, I'm out, peace, bye. You're on your own. And when you're having that when somebody of a character, even though she didn't get that much characterization, this character, when you have that and you're trying to connect, you feel sorry for somebody's death, and then there's someone making a joke about it, and you're kind of laughing at the joke because it is kind of funny, it takes you out of the film. And another negative for this film is that the ending in the third act just falls on its ass. Don't get me wrong, the battle between Laurie and Michael's good, but there is a subplot here regarding Michael's doctor, or as Laurie called him, the new Loomis, that just really made no freaking sense. I mean, I understand he was kind of a plot device to explain things that happened in the first and second act, but it was no need for this guy. If you cut him out the film entirely, you would still have the same film, and it kind of would have been viewed as smarter. And it kind of really brought me down when the scene happened. Just like, what the hell is that about? Like, did we really need this type of, why is this in here? It didn't make any sense. And I know people are going to debate me with it, like, oh, but you got to understand what they're going for. I know what they're going for. I'm just saying it kind of didn't make sense, and I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. You have to see it for yourself. I will say some other things I had a problem with certain side characters, like Judy Greer. She's a good actress, but her character as Laurie's daughter just was kind of there. And I would say the real focus is definitely the granddaughter, which I thought was pretty cool. She did a great job. I didn't like the subplot of her story too, because I mean, I know it's a horror film, it's a classic slasher, so we have to have teenagers who are going to get chopped up and everything else. But I felt it spent too much time on Laurie's kids and granddaughter, and not enough time on exploring Laurie's trauma. We do get enough to really get her motivation and everything else, which I thought did very well. But when it's on Jamie Lee Curtis, this film succeeds. When it's on Michael, this film succeeds. When it's even on the granddaughter, it succeeds. But once that scene happens, when it comes to this doctor, once the humor starts kicking in, it's not that much humor. I don't want people to think like you're watching like a Marvel movie where there's jokes, jokes. This is not a shot at Marvel. I love Marvel, by the way. When you're watching a serious scene and then they insert a joke to kind of ease the tension, there is moments here that you could just feel like there's jokes in there that just felt forced, and if they were cut out, I felt that the intensity and the tone would have been way, way better. But of course, we need to have humor in this, so unfortunately, the humor brings it down. But overall, you guys, I will definitely say this is the best of the film sequel follow-ups. Michael Myers is completely back in full form. It's a nice fan love letter to those who are fans of the original. John Carpenter, you can tell, definitely has some influence on this. Jamie Lee Curtis is great. Michael Myers is great. The Nick Castle, if you know which scene he's in, as Michael Myers is great. And those who are Michael Myers peers can tell it when it's Nick Castle and when it's another guy. I thought the Nick Castle cameo was really cool. That the fact that he got to put on the mask once again, I thought it was pretty cool. I have to talk about the ending, and that's my biggest con here, and this is going to weigh down the score because this is not a spoiler. The ending for me wasn't good. It ends abruptly. You think there's going to be another scene, and then they cue the title, and you're just going, are you freaking serious? That's it? That's it. It's very anticlimactic. And just the way it ends, I don't even know whether this franchise is gonna. It's like kind of open to interpretation type of thing. And is it gonna go on, or is this the swan song? And it's kind of frustrating because all the hype and all the build up, and it kind of didn't deliver on the ending. And I know they if the rumors were true with test audiences, they had to rework the ending. So it makes me wonder what the original ending really was. And I can't really co-sign this ending. It pissed me off, and it really took everything that was building up, and it just fell flat on his ass. The movie falls flat on its ass, or stumbles, I will say, in the third act. And I will say some of the characters aren't that smart too. Like, the ones that Michael are going to kill, and they die from the typical horror cliches. They trip, they fall, or they get stuck somewhere, and you're like, oh, come on. And it's kind of crazy because Michael Myers never runs. The guy's walking. So how anyone dies from this guy, especially when it's an open field, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of it takes you out, but it's horror movies. We're used to it. So overall, you guys, I'm gonna give this, for those who want to know, believe it or not, I'm giving it a 3.5 stars. It's a solid sequel. Unfortunately, it does have a little bit of issues when it comes to story. There's things that just get tossed in there. Side characters are not developed enough. But then again, I would give it a little bit of pass because it's a horror film, and we know we're just there to see the main attraction, which is Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis. Anyway, John Carpenter did a wonderful job with the score. The cinematography by director Green is great. Danny McBride wrote a solid script, but you can tell there's a little bit too much of the humor for my taste. Some people are going to absolutely love the jokes, but I felt the humor weighed down and kind of took me out of the tone that they were trying to establish. And otherwise than that, for those who like letters, I'm giving it a B-, believe it or not. And I would say still recommend it. And for those who want to know whether this is a matinee or full price, should I go see it? Or I would say this is a nice date movie for nighttime. If you're going to bring this as a date movie, go nighttime. But if you're not doing any type of date movies or anything like that, go see this as a matinee. And that's mainly because of the doctor and the abrupt ending. So I wouldn't recommend this at full price. But this is Justin from otakusandgeeks.com saying later days. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.